Carly meets Hudson and the Jack's question that nobody can answer. Let us start with Carly and Hudson because this scene is doing two kinds of work simultaneously. On the surface, it is a mother refusing to accept that her daughter's decision is final, recruiting the man who already delivered the rejected offer to go back and try again. Underneath, it is a conversation that is quietly pointing towards something that should make everyone in Carly's orbit very uncomfortable. Carly did her homework before making the call. That is who Carly is. She does not walk into a situation without knowing something about the person she is walking toward. She found out where Hudson was staying at the Metro Court because the hotel is a place she co-owns and is intimately connected to. She knew Josslyn's father had arranged for Hudson's stay. She had a steaming cup of coffee, black with 2 sugars, ready when Hudson arrived, which is the specific detail of a woman who does research that goes beyond the professional into the personal. She was prepared. Hudson arrived confused by how quickly she had located him, grateful for the coffee, and cautious about whatever she was about to ask. She cut straight to it. She wanted an update on his attempts to convince Josslyn to take the CEO position at her father's company. Hudson told her honestly. He made his best effort, and Josslyn rejected it completely. As far as he is concerned, the matter is closed. Carly told him wrong answer. And just like that, Hudson became her new project. Now here is where the scene gets genuinely alarming rather than simply being about Carly's legendary inability to take no for an answer. Both Valentine and Brennan, 2 men who know considerably more about the world of institutional deception and sophisticated identity manipulation than Carly does, would tell her that she has not dug nearly deep enough into the situation surrounding Hudson. Because here's the thing that nobody can verify, and that should be making everyone around this situation very nervous. Since Hudson arrived in Port Charles and made his offer to Josslyn, claiming to speak on behalf of her father, no one has been able to independently confirm contact with Josslyn's father himself. The paper trail is there. The credentials look right. Hudson has all the documentation a legitimate representative would carry. But Josslyn's father is a person with extraordinary wealth and extraordinary resources and absolutely no reason to be unreachable to his own daughter and ex-wife if he were genuinely out there sailing around the world and making decisions about his company's future. A multi-trillionaire does not simply go dark. The people around him cannot simply fail to reach him across weeks of trying. Carly mentioned she had spoken to him. But had she really? Or had she spoken to someone who is doing an extremely convincing impression of a conversation with him? The digital age makes verification of identity complicated in ways that even sophisticated people can be fooled by. The possibility sitting under everything is genuinely chilling. What if Josslyn's father is not unreachable because he is enjoying his sailing trip? What if he is unreachable because something has happened to him, because someone has taken over his identity, his company, his paper trail, for purposes that have nothing to do with his daughter's career development and everything to do with whatever Hudson's actual agenda is? Hudson has been described all summer as a man with mysterious ties, operating on behalf of someone with dangerous reach. He beat up Ethan. He threatened multiple people. He is watching Phoebe with an intensity that sent Brooklyn's maternal instincts into immediate alarm. He is not simply a business representative delivering legitimate offers. And yet here is Carly, who has done some homework but not enough, pushing Hudson to go back to Josslyn and try again, treating him as someone she can recruit and deploy rather than someone she should be deeply suspicious of. Valentine, who has his own complicated awareness of how people with resources and agendas operate, would recognize the flags in this situation. Brennan, who has been tracking the company with growing suspicion for weeks, would recognize them even faster. If either of them knew what Carly was doing right now, inviting Hudson into her home, handing him coffee, asking him to help her, they would be alarmed. Carly pushed into a situation she does not fully understand, working with someone whose true nature she has not accurately identified, in the service of getting her daughter out of a job that her daughter is not going to leave. That is the definition of playing with fire while believing you are simply rearranging furniture. Drew's olive branch and the question of what it actually means. Now let us talk about Drew's unexpected move this week, because the phrase olive branch attached to Drew's name at this particular moment in his story is the kind of thing that requires very careful examination before anyone in Port Charles accepts it at face value. Drew has been operating all summer with the focused fury of a man who came back from paralysis with a list and a plan. He promised the Quartermaines they would lose everything. He imposed restrictions on Scout that have been slowly breaking a 12-year-old girl's world. He told Alexis he was not changing his mind and meant it with every cell of his recovered body. He picked fights he did not have to pick and escalated situations that were already uncomfortable. This is not a man in a place of peace. So when the spoilers describe him extending an olive branch to someone this week, the natural and probably correct instinct is to wonder what the olive branch is actually for. The most charitable interpretation is Scout. She has been telling Rocco things she immediately takes back. She has been carrying a weight that is visible to every scene partner she shares. And Drew loves his daughter with a fierceness that has never been in question, even while his decisions about her world have been consistently damaging. If Scout finally reached him, if something she said, or something he observed about how she is doing, broke through the wall of his grievance, then the olive branch could be genuine. He might be trying to find a way to give Scout back some of what he has been taking from her without fully admitting that he was wrong to take it. The specific recipients being speculated about tell you something about each scenario's dynamics. If the olive branch goes to Jason, it would be the most surprising and the most structurally interesting option. These two men share a specific and complicated history. They are twins who grew up separately, who came together in Port Charles in ways that were never easy, who have been adversaries across multiple chapters of the story. But they share the thing that has mattered most to both of them all summer, which is Danny and Scout needing each other. If Drew decided that his war with the Quartermaines was not worth what it is costing his daughter in terms of her brother, that is actually a meaningful choice. One that would require Drew to set aside something significant. If the olive branch goes to Michael, the calculation is completely different. Michael has leverage over Drew that Drew is aware of. A gesture toward Michael at this moment could be Drew trying to negotiate the terms of the standoff rather than actually offering peace. A shady peace deal, which is how the spoilers describe it, suggests exactly that. Drew making a move that looks like reconciliation but is actually a strategic attempt to manage the situation before it gets further out of his control. Either way, the olive branch deserves scrutiny. Port Charles has learned, over years of watching Drew operate, that his most unexpected moves are often his most calculated ones. A man who spent months locked in a wheelchair plotting his return is not someone who suddenly decides on genuine reconciliation without careful thought about what that reconciliation is designed to achieve. Watch what Drew is giving and what he is getting in return. The exchange rate of this particular gesture will tell you everything about what it actually is. The week in full, and all the unexpected moments coming. And finally, let us look at the full picture of what this week is going to produce across the canvas, because it is one of those weeks where the biggest developments are scattered through multiple stories simultaneously and no single character gets all the attention. Josslyn blabs something. She says too much about something she was probably supposed to keep closer. Josslyn's tendency to push past the boundaries of what she is authorized to say or do, the same quality that makes her a complicated field agent, expresses itself in a personal rather than professional context, and whatever she reveals is going to matter. She asks Michael for help, which suggests that whatever she blabbed has created a situation that requires intervention from someone she trusts. Jason's news makes Britt's jaw drop. This is the moment that the show has been building toward, Jason delivering something to Britt that she was not prepared for. Whether that is the explicit conversation about the Cassia's secret, or information about where his romantic intentions actually lie right now, or something else entirely, the image of Britt's jaw-dropping suggests the information is both significant and surprising. Not what she expected. Not what she was hoping for, probably. Lucas and Joe bonding is the unexpected pairing of the week that is going to catch the audience pleasantly off guard. These two have not had much shared canvas time, and whatever brings them together is going to reveal something about both of them through what they talk about and what they choose to be honest with each other about. Anna and Sunny finding common ground is a pairing that has its own specific history and weight. Two people who have operated on opposite sides of various dividing lines in Port Charles for years, discovering that they share something, perhaps about the WSB, perhaps about what it means to try to be something different than what you have been, perhaps about something more immediately practical, is the kind of scene that this show uses to shift how the audience understands both characters. Jordan gets an unexpected offer. Given everything that has been building around her professionally, the job vacuum left by the Sidwell situation, the consultancy conversations with Valentine, Brennan's interest in her as a potential inside source, the unexpected offer could be any of these threads arriving at once. Or it could be something entirely new that the week is holding back as a surprise.